In this video, I'm going to be using this lens by itself without a teleconverter. If you watched my last video, then you will know that my first outing with this lens, I used a 1.4 teleconverter that day. So on these two sessions, I wanted to see how this lens would perform by itself and if the photo quality would be any different. I did have the converter on for the very first shot, but every shot afterwards was shot without it. The good thing about using a telephoto lens without a teleconverter is that you get those extra f-stops, which can be very helpful for when the lighting is poor and if you want better background separation in your photos. And sometimes the image quality will be better without one. I was doing a good bit of walking around at first with not any successful photos in that span, and that's when I decided to change up my strategy. I noticed a lot of bird activity going on in this little area, so instead of walking around like I was doing, I decided to just sit and wait for the birds to come to me, and luckily for me, this strategy worked out that day. At this point is when I realized that the photo quality without the 1.4 converter really isn't much different at all, which was surprising to me because I was expecting a slight difference in quality, but I don't notice any difference. I'm really happy with the shots I was able to get on this session. Most of the birds I came across were very cooperative, which is rare. And my first impressions on this lens without a converter is that I do like it without one. The image quality and everything else is great, but I do think I enjoy it more with a 1.4 converter, and I'll explain why soon. For this session, I did have a goal in mind, and that was to hopefully get a good photo of an eastern towhee, because I seen one on the last session, but I wasn't able to get a shot of one. So I was hoping to get one on this day. Unfortunately, I didn't, but hopefully I will soon. The biggest difference when I'm using this lens by itself is that I have to get even closer to what I'm trying to photograph to achieve the kind of shot I want, which makes getting shots of skittish subjects such as a bird even tougher, since the closer I get to the subject, there's a much better chance of it flying or running away, and obviously I don't want that. Even though I lose 3 f-stops with the converter, I still prefer to use this lens with it, because the extra 120 millimeters that I gain from it means that I don't have to get as close to whatever I'm trying to photograph, and that is crucial when it comes to wildlife photography. And also, the photo quality doesn't seem to be affected at all with it on. Small birds such as kinglets, sparrows, and warblers never seem to sit in one spot for more than a few seconds, so whenever I attempt to photograph them, I will always have my shutter speed really fast, like no slower than 1/1000th of a second, to keep up with their unexpected movements, like this kinglet here. It kept hopping around on this tree, but luckily I got a couple of shots that I liked. Overall, I really enjoyed these 2 sessions. Lots of bird shots, and that's what I was hoping for. I also still really enjoyed this lens even without my 1.4, but most of the time from here on out, I will mostly use it with it on, because for one, I don't have to get as close, which makes getting shots a little easier, and 2, there isn't a quality drop off. I think the only time I'll use it by itself is when the light is super poor. The f4 in low light will be much better than f5.6 with the converter. If you like this video, then make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.